Very interesting. By Mario V. Melendez, written on March 2005, 2019, in reaction to the mosque shootings in New Zealand, where a white supremacist killed 51 Muslims. Here goes. I've always said, if you ever need to reaffirm your faith in the human race after hearing about the evil that human beings, like that worthless piece of shit in New Zealand, are capable of, your best refuge is the arts. In reaction to similar man-made tragedies in the past, I've posted and reposted The Dying Swan. And while searching YouTube today to repost it again after New Zealand, I stumbled on a version that is, well, very interesting. Find a link below at the description. I'm all for the classics in the arts, and I've posted Maya Plisetskaya's definitive classical version of this renowned short solo ballet from Carnival of the Animals. I've always believed, don't tinker with the classics. Leave them alone as the artist created them. But this entirely different choreography of such a great classic has me bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Not necessarily in that order, nor in an unpleasant way. You've got to watch it after watching Plisetskaya's version. For comparison, find a link below at the description. First, it's very physical, even too circus-esque or acrobatic for ballet, which is all about subtlety, finesse, and nuance, and which, at least for me, leaves the rest to the beholder's imagination. But that's probably the point of the exaggerated choreography, as I'll explain next. Some movements are even awkward, but I'm sure they're intentionally choreographed to be so. Second, it goes diametrically against the entire theme of the piece. It's called The Dying Swan for a reason, with emphasis on dying. There's nothing dying about the youthful physicality and exuberant zest of this version. It's not just a reinterpretation of the choreography first danced by Anna Pavlova in 1905, it is an entirely different work. Third, so what to make of it? It's too damn good to ignore, simply because it contradicts everything about The Dying Swan. I wonder what Julius Reisinger, who choreographed Swan Lake, or Tchaikovsky, who composed the music, or Carmel Sanson, who wrote the music for The Dying Swan, or Maya Plisetskaya herself, would think if they saw this. Would they be horrified? Or would they say, as I say today, very interesting. All four of them are gone now, staging ballet in the great beyond, I'm sure. But I think they would choose the latter. Pavlova's Dying Swan, which she first danced in 1905, was never co-opted into Swan Lake. It's a separate, short solo ballet and must not be confused with the full-length one. Still, I think they could find a way to co-opt this new interpretation into Swan Lake as the silly, haughty, immature adolescent Odette. Odette in the pink of health. Odette ready to take on the world. Odette frolicking without a care in the lake in a youthful celebration of life and a mocking of death. It might as well be called The Living Swan instead of The Dying Swan. The latter resigns itself to death. The former defies it. The contrast even brings to mind John Donne's sonnet, Death, Be Not Proud, written in the 1600s. Indeed, art is all about contrasts. I've posted before about Michelangelo's Pieta. Contrast is everywhere. The beautiful versus the ugly, the sublime versus the mundane, the fall versus the redemption, good versus evil, light versus darkness, life versus death, point versus counterpoint. And I think this youthfully exuberant radical version will serve as a counterpoint to the very sedate, sombre, classical version danced first by Pavlova and danced arguably best by Plisetskaya, haunting audiences around the world ever since. Methinks that including it in Swan Lake would fit perfectly with Plisetskaya herself, the trailblazing enfant. Terrible of the ballet world, like Maria Callas, her contemporary, the pioneering bad girl of the opera world. In fact, Plisetskata famously said that her interpretation of the piece is not about a wounded, dying swan, the traditional version performed by all other ballerinas, but about a swan that is, quote, elderly and stubbornly resisting the effects of aging, unquote, but including the conventional version instead of this unconventional one in Swan Lake is more possible. And here's the simple reason. The former is modern dance, while the latter is classical ballet. Between the two, there's a firewall so very rigid that they rarely meet. But meet they did in Maya Plisetskaya, who danced both, moving seamlessly between the classical as Odette and the modern as Carmen. She respected no boundaries, not even boundaries of age. In a remarkable case of art imitating life, Plisetskaya famously performed that physically demanding classical ballet, solo at age 62, far too old in the unforgiving ballet world where strength and endurance are everything. It was to be her last time. Alas, in the end, age triumphed even over Maya Plisetskaya, the prima ballerina assoluta for the ages. Oh, wait. Did I make you forget about that worthless piece of shit in New Zealand? Great. That's exactly what art is supposed to do. Exalt life over death, good over evil, light over darkness, the sublime over the mundane, and the beautiful over the ugly. Thank you for listening. Click or copy and paste the relevant links in the description below.